In document L, we are looking at a secondary source. It is about the Great Crash, or it's called the Great Crash. And this particular document is about bank failures. This is the main idea of the document. And some may say, well, that seems like an effect of the Great Depression, and we are talking about a cause. So we are going to read the document and look at how a bank failure might also be a cause of the Great Depression as well as an effect, because cause is what you want to talk about. Just for some context, I put over here in the margin the number of bank failures that took place in these 3 years, 1929, 1930, and 1931. And you can see as those banks failed, $1 billion worth of money had been withdrawn by the fall of 1931. So banks are losing people's money and then they're failing and closing. Let's read the document to learn more. Although the bankers were unusually foolish in 1929, the banking structure was inherently weak. The weakness was in the large number of independent banks. When one bank failed, the assets of others were frozen while depositors elsewhere had a warning to go and ask for their money. Thus, one failure led to other failures, and these spread with a domino effect. When income, employment, and values fell as the result of a depression, bank failures could quickly become epidemic. This happened after 1929. The weak destroyed not only the other weak, but weakened the strong. Needless to say, such a banking system, one in the convulsions of failure, had a repressive effect on the spending of its depositors and the investment of its clients. What is it referring to here is the process of a bank failure. Banks make a profit by taking in money from depositors. So let's see if we can get this in here real quick. We're going to call this our bank. Put a big dollar sign on it because that's where the money goes. So there are people that give their money to the bank to hold it, savings, checkings accounts. So all this money comes in, okay? They keep some of it on hand as reserves, so some of that money stays here in the bank, but they lend out some at higher interest rates. Maybe these are to businesses. Okay, so you drop your money off, some of it stays, some of it goes. If the bank makes bad loans to those businesses and can't collect from the borrowers, this money doesn't come back, they can't give this money back to these people when they go to the bank and ask for it. These people get nervous that that's going to happen, and so they rush to the bank and start taking out their money before there's an opportunity for the bank to run out. Maybe it runs out by the time it gets to this guy, so he's sad, no money, or before these businesses close. This is called a run on the bank. The bank pays its depositors the best it can, and then it closes its doors. If it runs out, it closes its doors. This is a problem because this could make individuals afraid of all banks. Maybe it's just these small independent banks that are losing the money, but people can be fearful of all banks. And so now they're not putting their money into the larger banks. Those larger banks don't have the money to lend out in business loans. So businesses aren't able to expand. So some bank failures discourage further depositors from depositing in healthy banks, which would help strengthen the economy and keep business going. And so now that is not happening.